Good morning, and thank you very much for joining us. I am Yori Folari. Well, today, I was surprised, I'll admit, in the sense that just dropped into my inbox that one of our dear daughters, Leah Sharibu, she needs very, very little introduction. Leah Sharibu, after 449 days in captivity, is 16 today. And quickly checked it out. Apparently everywhere. It's known all abroad. There are all sorts of activities, all sorts of marches in the UK, in the US, in Europe. And I also found out that there are also some programs here. The very concept of all those girls. This, as you know, was from the second wave. This was the Dapchi incident, not the original incident. Well, I'm joined by my colleague in the House. I'm joined by my colleague in the House, Obani Akinwunmi. Ni, it's great to have you as always. Pull you away from all your technical stuff. Sort of remember our humanity and as fathers and daughters. I guess the whole idea. We couldn't have imagined it. There was a time when we were saying 100 days in captivity, and it was seen as a milestone. Then 200, and now we're looking at 449. And she's 16. Yet people are not giving up hope that we will get her back. The president has said that they will not rest. I suppose parents are going to be eternally hopeful. It's the way to be, right?
Let me start by saying the case of Leah Sharibu is a typical case of what Nigeria looks like, to be sincere. And what I'm trying to refer to is that if you remember those days, bring back our girls. Most of our so-called female political actors leverage on disappearance of number of girls, and like what they call in the local palace Sakamanje is what they have done to us. Because you see the noise globally, the awareness was there, Obama was carrying placards. Where is Bring Our Girls now? Where are all those noises? Where is everybody agitating that the president must come back? Even the political parties that leverage on the fact that there's insecurity and what have you. So the case of Leah Sharibu is so unfortunate. It's where we found ourselves, and as a parent as well, you look at the trauma, the level of trauma, being a parent and having the hope that one day your daughter will be there with you. You just saw an example of what happened recently in Kano. Someone that was away for just 5 months. You could see the level of joy, the tears and what have you. And having such a lady with...
we're talking about Zainab.
Exactly, Zainab. You could see the level of joy, even in an environment that is more secure. The cell is better secure than you don't know what.
Totally different circumstances.
Exactly.
But it was a whole matter about just getting our daughter back.
Exactly. So Leah's case is so terrible that neither the government nor the parents, even nor the terrorists, are saying anything that is substantial for us to be hopeful about. And what we keep hearing every day is that the government is still negotiating about what, about to, for how long? For 2 years. This girl has been in captivity. She's celebrating her birthday in the den, and you know the sorrow this is going to throw up among the colleagues.
But government has told us from time to time that they are leaving no stone unturned, and that they are pulling out all the stops. So much so that the president has spoken about it. I mean, it's like, as he said, enough probably is not going to be seen to have been done by parents and very, very close to people. But the president has sort of reached out. I remember that was, you remember?
I think I would rather suggest that the presidency or the government should even not touch the stone rather than just leaving it unturned. Because if we have not touched the stone at all, the so-called terrorists going to Dapchi, kidnapping during the day, would have happened at all. Now, if you are giving me hope that it will happen in 100 days, it's not forthcoming. In 200 days, it's not forthcoming. In 300 days, it's not forthcoming. 499 days, it is too much. It's so much a pain.
But as you, do you accept that this can be quite frustrating to the authorities as well?
It is not.
Because they want nothing more than to bring, even if it were for no more than just the whole political capital, the whole kudos, they want to bring back those
I
girls.
bet to differ.
And I am sure it's more than that.
I bet to differ. If we look at some of the things that we have in the country lately, some of the political top-notches, some of big boys that were kidnapped in different areas of the country, you see the rate at which the IRT, the special military force, swing into action to attack the situations. And they bring these things under control. So the question is that, let's assume for all intent that Leah Sharibu is one of our top politicians' daughter. Are we saying we are going to see this amount of effort in rescuing her? Are we saying she's going to celebrate 2 birthdays in the den of those who we don't know?
So,
are we saying,
so you are taking exception with the idea that the government is pulling out all the stops for this, and that if they could have done it by now, they would have. That we haven't done it is not for a lack of trying.
Yeah,
you're saying that you
they,
take that
they are
with
trying.
some reservation.
I agree with the fact that government is trying, but what I'm saying is that the effort is not enough.
Okay. Mr. George, good morning, and thank you for holding on. Good morning.
Good morning, Uncle Yori.
Thank you for calling in, sir.
Uncle Yori, I am not happy the way the Christian Association of Nigeria has politicized this Leah Sharibu's case. The picture I'm getting is that because the girl is a Christian, so the government must do something extraordinary. I thought the Bible says we should love everybody, irrespective of the person's religion. I did not see a Christian Association of Nigeria issue any statement when the Chibok girls were abducted. The Muslim Association, there's also a Muslim Association and other religious associations. They didn't come out to issue, pressure notes that because this person or that person is a member of our organization, the government must do something. The Christian Association of Nigeria has taken this matter to an undeserved height. They have politicized it, and it should not be so. Because your love should be above any religion. And they make it look as if the government is deliberately not doing anything about it. The president has explained severally all the efforts that are being made to make sure that this girl is released. After all, there were many that were abducted at the same time, and the government rescued them within a month. It wasn't the government that says, this one is a Christian, because it's a Christian, leave that one behind. They wanted everybody back, but the terrorists chose to do it like that, and the government has been trying to do their best to bring the girl back. But the Christian Association of Nigeria just took this thing out of context and made it look as if it is because she's a Christian. That is why the government is not doing enough. I don't buy that, and it should not be sold to anybody.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for calling in, Mr. George. It's a point of view.
Yeah.
There are those who will say it's also a controversial point of view.
Yeah.
But I've heard this myself, and then the way it is played up, I don't know. I don't know how helpful these notions are. The important thing is that a Nigerian girl.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the most. A Nigerian girl is in the hands of captors, and we want her back. Now, all this other aspect, I don't know how much the role of social media, because just as the last caller, Mr. George, was saying, when you see some of the materials, the art materials that have been set up, emphasis is made of her face. And it is underlined. So it goes beyond. I don't know if this is a natural kind of way to feel for one of your own, which is probably the way, if Christian Association of Nigeria has done anything amiss,
I think,
might be the way they are feeling.
I think I was reading a memo by one of the parliamentarians in Britain when Africa was being colonized, and one of the memos he wrote is that Africa is so vast in terms of resources and both human and material resources, that the only way they can be conquered is to divide them. And the only way you can divide Africa is through religion. So you find out that one of their greatest undoing in this part of the world now is religion. And like I said earlier, most religious organizations or groups have partially turned to agitation groups, which is not supposed to be. At the tenet, I'm a Christian, the tenet of Christians never says we should go against Muslim or we should go against the government. We're supposed even to pray for government. Look at what is playing out. Practically, you find out that becoming head of Christian Union or Muslim Union is now becoming even worse than becoming the president of a country. So which means sometimes those organizations are self-serving. We should not put the correlation whether Leah Sharibu is a Christian or is a Muslim.
Exactly.
What about those that were killed in Buniyadi in Yobe State?
Exactly.
Are they Christians as well?
Exactly.
They have parents. Those ones were killed, slaughtered in broad daylight. So the agitation of Khan sometimes amuses me as a person, as a Christian.
Let me bring in GARUBA. GARUBA and MAKURDI, good morning, sir.
Good morning, Uncle Yori.
Thank you very much for calling in.
Good morning to your guests.
Thank you.
Good morning.
You people are doing a fantastic job. I love the submission of the guest and the last caller. The first caller, sorry, I mean. You see, Uncle Yori, the major problem of our society, we attack every single issue with religion. We should look at the issue holistically, the way it is. And I love the way your guest analyze everything. The submission that he gave them. You see, we look at it as a human. Not keep religion aside. When we have humanity within ourselves, we'll take issues seriously and look at it holistically and fight it holistically and we'll see the end of it. We look at Leah as a human being, as an entity, as a daughter of a Nigeria, as a Nigerian citizen. What religion organization should take on aside? That religion is between you and your God.
Indeed.
And those monsters that kidnapped that girl, I think that girl did not miss them.
Sure. Well, thank you very much for calling in. We appreciate your call. The whole conversation, which has been ongoing along the lines that Mr. George has pointed out, it can be distressing sometimes.
Yes.
Because, look, I would even go as far as saying, before you are one thing or another, you are a Nigerian first. And I don't know that the authorities have, been lackadaisical about it.
Not at all.
And certainly, even if they were going to be, it can't be because of her faith. So these kind of narratives being put up among this very, very unfortunate situation where we must remember she's someone's daughter, So there are parents, there are sisters, her brothers, everybody. But you see, we're now introducing all of this into the conversation.
Let's even put religions in perspective. The president of this country is a Muslim. The vice president of this country is a pastor, is a Christian. The speaker of the parliament of this country is a Christian, is a pastor. So the question is, if we're going to play religious card, are those entities and those aims of affairs not going to reflect based on their religion? So religion doesn't even come to play at all. First, Leah Sharibu is a human being that deserves to live a life with a level of freedom. So now having a situation whereby somebody is now saying, sometimes you find out that some of these religious organizations, with every sense of responsibility and humility, they are the one eating up the system. Why can't CAN or whatever organization, I read Murik a couple of days ago, were asking people to pray for Leah Sharibu release. That's an Islamic organization. So CAN supposed to pray. How do we ensure that this country is safe? Give ideas to government, how the government make the country safer. And what can we do to ensure that we have the government? Rather than carrying you find out that the CAN now are now carrying placards. Okay,
one moment. Good morning, YAQUB. Thank you for holding on.
Good morning, sir. And then good morning to your guest.
Good morning, sir.
It is unfortunately that we find ourselves in this kind of situation. As Mr. George Riley said earlier, a religious organization that has turned its face to a civil society organization, if they really want to do that, they should drop the word of CAN and then join the civil society organization and call for the release of Leah Sharibu. One thing I want to ask is, the one other lady that is working with the United Nations Red Cross that got killed, if she's a Muslim, does it mean that Leah Sharibu have more value life than her? You see, the situation we have in this country is pathetic. They are saying that the Mr. President should work hard to release Leah Sharibu. How many of them that Boko Haram took away that time? There are many. But it is only one that left behind. Why? Because he don't want to relinquish his religious thing. But even with that, if you're the ordinary citizens of this country, me and you, sir, we don't know what is going underground. You see, a station whereby we are fighting insecurity, Boko Haram. These are the people that life does not follow today. And then they are telling the government, maybe what they are requested for from the government, it is more than what the government can do this time around. But we don't know. The kind of organization, they have the access to Mr. President, even though they can send their leader. to know how far they are going, rather than carry placards and all that. It cannot help. The Mr. President has released so many guys. Part of the support guy, he makes sure that he got them released. Part of the LEAH'S member, he makes sure that he get them released. Only LEAH'S left there. And then I'm very, very sure Mr. President is working beyond to make sure these girls come out of that captivity.
Indeed.
Rather than can't say all whatever they are saying, they should remember things. What's that thing is that all of us will come to this world, and then one day we are going to live, and then we are going to accountable for God Almighty Allah. The role that you play when you are alive, instead of you to play a positive role in time of releasing LEAH'S, for carrying placard does not help situation. The Boko Haram have asking for so many things that government cannot be able to disclose to ordinary citizens of this country, and then government can never do that. If they do that, it can affect ordinary citizens when they ask for so much money that will make sure that they got more weapons and all that. The government have already found themselves in a corner. But I'm very sure as time goes on, they will find out how to get LEAH'S out. And then I pray, I use this month that we find ourselves, Ramadan period, we pray that LEAH'S will got out of captivity. By the God grace of God Almighty Allah. Thank you.
Indeed, and I'm sure all parents up and down the land will be ringing an amen to that. It must be unintentional, but the notion being put forward by people who talk so, that in some way this is not agonizing to every last Nigerian, whether Christian, whether Muslim. It's agonizing. It's not less agonizing because I happen to be, if that girl's a Christian, I happen to be a Muslim. It's not less agonizing. And I don't know how we see it. It's just that, let the truth be told, we do like to strike up conversations and topics and gists, and especially with social media in there now as a platform, every man can have his say, and it becomes something of a challenge. But as YAQUB has said, and as Nigerians themselves have seen, Mr. President has reassured that all hands are on deck on this issue. It is front burner all the time. It is a matter of deep regret, not to mention frustration, that we don't have her. And I suppose we should just continue to be prayerful. Something was put out today. Let's all pray for Leah Shirabu.
No,
surely it's not Christian prayers alone.
I agree that we should pray.
It's all prayers.
But even the Bible says we should pray and work. It's not that we should pray only.
Yeah, but
so we now need to have some level of work.
But that's going back to the work point, which is something that you have held on to from the beginning. And, it's your prerogative that I think, correct me if I'm wrong, you seem to have the notion that if more could have been done, then this would have been resolved.
Sure. Exactly, because when you look at it, so the Murik, the Can, the what have you, whenever they go to Villa, they are being served, and before you find out is that everybody comes out of Villa shaking their heads, smiling, and that is it. Then the next minute it becomes the headline newspaper, Can want presidency to do this. So Can needs to put in more work. How will Can help government with intelligence? Because the Boko Haram, the ESMA, whatever that we are facing in this country, stay with us. So in terms of information for the government, for the security apparatus, Can, myself, yourself, everybody around has a role to play.
Yeah, but I don't want Christian Association of Nigeria as a body to sort of come under fire here. No. I guess they're all parents in there too.
Exactly.
Yeah, they also are unapologetically Christians.
Exactly.
And it does so happen that Leah is a Christian.
Exactly.
So one can probably understand some emotional thing going on.
Yeah, what we're saying.
But what we're saying that we need to be responsible,
exactly.
Right? So as not to put the
wrong
policy, sentiment
put wrong ideas out there for people.
ABDUL-MALIK in ZARIA. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
Thank you for calling in.
Yeah, actually, what I want to say is the case of Leah Sharibu is a case that every well-meaning Nigerian has to feel that sympathy for her. Though government has done their best, and I believe that he's trying to put more effort to ensure that she's being released, because it will be a plus to the administration that a girl that was held captive was released. Though we can't tell maybe what they require from government is something that government cannot offer, because it is something that will be discretive. They will not tell to Nigerians that this is what the people that held her captive demand. It's an in-house issue. And probably sometime when can visit them, they cannot actually tell us some information that is not supposed to be meant to be public. So we cannot totally agree that maybe Khan are not putting the effort as supposed, because some things can be discussed among them between the Khan leader and the Mr. President, in which you might ask him to leave it to be discretive unless and until something is being done. And again, we all believe, the both faith believe in miracle of Almighty God. And in this situation, I've always had people, you say this one, you say the other one. But hardly have we come together and unite as one Nigerian, even if half of the population will not pray and fast for her. But at least let's get some group of people from the Muslim and even the Christian, fix a date like, okay, for the purpose of this girl, let's unite and pray and believe. Because when you pray, you have to believe that the prayer will work out. You will not pray and keep thinking that, let's see, maybe this one. Like the case of one Muslim cleric that was just held out, he was abducted. You see, even after the police rescued him, part of them that we saw on media that they recorded, some were even confessing that they believe it is the prayer that they prayed. If not, don't even know how comes.
Thank you very much for ABDUL-MALIK calling in from ZARIA. 16th birthday of Leah Sharibu after 449 days in captivity. Nobody would have thought about it. So I suppose as government is doing all that it can, everybody else
has to do their own bits.
Everybody in the country, whether Muslim, whether Christian, whatever, even if it is alternative belief, must be prayerful.
Exactly.
You know, and
we must all work towards securing a release.
Indeed, indeed.
That should be the priority.
Well,
not eating up the system.
Well, I want to thank you. We just thought we'd sort of touch base with this. You know, 16th birthday, 449. Our hearts go out to not just Leah Sharibu, but also her parents, you know, her guardians, her families, friends, schoolmates, all of those people.
It's psychological trauma for everybody around our world.
It is, and it doesn't matter whether what shade your faith is.
Exactly.
She's a Nigerian kid, and we want her back. Thank you very much, Ni Akinwunmi.
You're welcome.
You know. Okay, we'll just take a quick break now, and we'll be back. Okay, welcome back, and let's move on. Now, as you know, you've seen the news. Lagos State Governor was at State House in Abuja yesterday to thank the president, you know, before, you know, coming to Lagos and launching some projects. And of course, journalists, you know, waiting for him. As soon as he came out, they had a number of questions for him. So the interesting part is the line that everybody's taking. Well, I don't know if everybody's taking it. We certainly have taken it. The quote, "I am wiser now." Okay. My guest, you know, this morning is Mr. Ayodele Adewale. Well, he's a politician, but I was going to ask him, sir, are you a technocrat or a politician?
I'm a political activist.
A political activist. Yeah, and you're a former chairman, you know, of Amuwodofin, you know, and you're, you know, still a kingpin in APC. So you, many people will call you a politician, but you've just defined yourself. We also will call you an activist. Yes, we know, because that's always been there from the beginning. But with Governor Ambode, when he came out, the good old journalist boys, they wanted to know, you know, how did it go? And the governor apparently had volunteered that, you see, every politician learns every day. And so the journalists being, that's what they do, they probe further. So, sir, what exactly have you learned? Well, again, the quote, because let me just quote it word for word. Quote, "The fact remains that I came in as a technocrat, so I call myself a techno-politician. But I think I am wiser now." Quote continues, "I am more of a politician than a technocrat." That must be now. So that's why I asked you the question, sir, are you a politician or a technocrat? Governor Ambode says now he's more of a politician than a technocrat. First of all, give me your thoughts. You know, you've been in there. What are your thoughts on that voluntary offering from Governor Ambode?
Well,
that I'm wiser now.
Well, I would not know the kind of question that was thrown to him as a rider that warranted that statement. But again, it's a statement from his thought, saying that he has a background of being a technocrat. And of course, in our climb, politics also have a way, a fashion in which people play it and in which you deliver your program and services. The only angle I will hold on to is that he's wiser now. We become wiser every day in accordance to situations that confront us, how we tackle it, where we have failed, and where we've been able to learn from some of our failings. Like I will always say, it's not the amount of time that you fall that matters, but the amount of time you are able to get up and keep going.
Well, and you know, I don't know, as far as looking in from the outside, Governor Ambode has been a good sport about it. He's been very busy, very active. There are projects that are ongoing. You see roads still being, you know, completed. And rather than be any sort of a shrinking violet, in fact, he's thrust himself very, very much into the sway of things. Apparently, again, looking from the outside in, looks like he's determined to make a good job of all of this.
Well, a man cannot do beyond his ability, and human dynamic is not static. Human want is insatiable, and as long as we're in this mundane, things will continue to shapen up, and it behoves on us on how we are able to tackle our challenges as much as it connects the common good of the people. And in this retrospect, the people comes first. And we also need to look at the prevailing needs of the people, the common needs. Are we able to meet up with it? If yes, then we move on to the next climb. And if no, then the people will react and say, look, we need to rejig the system. And in rejigging the system, it could hurt our interests in one way or the other.
When you talk about needs of the people, there's also, if you want to, I can't think of how differently to put it, needs of the system. There's I understand the people, but there's a system in place. There's an institution in place, right? So there are also needs of the system, and it seems from all of this, we're yet to know what exactly beyond his politician and technocrat answer, ways in which he has indeed become wiser, but the system also has needs.
Well, the engineering dynamics of restructuring.
Oh, I beg your pardon, comrade.
No.
There's another comrade, Comrade Ayo in OSOGBO, you know, who's a regular and who wants to weigh in on this. Good morning, Comrade Ayo in OSOGBO.
Good morning, Uncle Yori.
Good morning, sir.
And good morning to the other comrade in the studio.
Good morning.
Okay.
Uncle Yori, in as much as we acknowledge the fact that the security challenges in the country is worrisome, we must not shy away from the fact that this present government is doing everything within its capability to solve the security issue. And we must give them kudos for that. See, Uncle Yori, pertaining to LEAH'S Sharibu.
Well, comrade, you couldn't get in when we were talking about Leah, right? You couldn't get in.
Hello?
You couldn't get in when we were talking about Leah.
Oh.
I'm asking because we're not talking about Leah anymore.
They just took my SNEPA, just did their.
Oh, we've gone on to another subject now, comrade.
All right, okay.
So you don't have power right now, so you can't see.
Right now, I cannot access my TV.
Yet you still are calling us on the phone. Kudos. Talk about a die-hard fan. Thank you very much, comrade. Bye.
Welcome.
Bye for now. Yes. You know, before I had to go over there, we're talking about part of being a technocrat. You know, well, I don't know the part where that falls. There's the politician part. There's also the technocrat part. Because being a technocrat never hurt anybody. However, whether you can be an undiluted, pure technocrat, I suppose that's where people begin to look at these things carefully.
Well, the means of operation differs. As a technocrat, if you're working in a very structured environment, a private sector environment, so to speak, there's a way that they carry out their functions and all of that. It is well scripted. But in a political public sector, intermittently you need to look at your systems regularly, because you could decide to wanting to deliver a particular process in a manner that you feel it's appropriate after much consultation. But by the time you hit the ground, it becomes something else. You understand? Other things could prop up at the same time that made that initial system not contemporary to the challenges on ground. So it means that you must regularly consult the people, you must regularly carry them along in whatever thing you're doing. Information matter a lot.
And also be very highly adaptable. Probably.
You must be adaptable. You know. You must be without compromising your principles.
Okay. Matthew, in Finland, all the way over in Finland. Good morning.
Good morning. Yeah. Good morning.
Okay, good morning.
I think yesterday I watched that briefing bureau from the. Yeah, I think yesterday I watched that briefing interview from the governor of Lagos State.
Okay.
I must commend you, Comrade Uncle Remy, for your program. I've been following you for some time now.
Oh, thank you very much.
And you are really discussing the major issues affecting Nigeria.
Okay.
And coming to the topic online now, I think that word and why it's might have been being for him to have found out some people have betrayed him, and out of that betrayal, they make their way out. So from him, he is now wiser on how to deal with people around him this time around. Even if he's not going to be in the power again, but eventually if he finds himself in power next time, I think the mistakes he has done before, he might not be able to repeat it again. I think that is what he means by being wiser now.
Thank you very much for calling in, Comrade. Well, no, sir, I didn't. Mr. Matthew, I'm getting Comrade on the brain because I have one in front of me, I have one at home, and then you've called in from Finland. Interesting perspective, because all sorts of, again, it's not all that really happened that everybody is aware about. Let's face it, there's always behind the scenes, and so this, naturally, there will be family business going on that the marketplace is not privy to. But people are bringing up their own ideas. The gentleman in Finland just thought that, well, okay. Good morning, Mr. George, again.
Okay, Uncle Money, Uncle Yari.
Money, bring some of the money. Bring some of the money.
That shows I am going to be a billionaire. Uncle Yari, as a management teacher, I do not see a difference between a technocrat, the word technocrat that we're using, and the management of people. It simply means the ability to deploy your professional training for the benefit of the public. So whatever you want to call it, that is what I think it means. The statement that Mr. Ambode is making, and why that now, the way I see it is that, okay, I'm now in a state to do things the way politicians do it in a political way, whether it is right or wrong. I don't think it should be an attitude to governance, with due respect to him. Because if you look at, I've been watching from the time he lost his bid to vie for a second term, this gentleman virtually stopped work. Look at the roads in Lagos. Potholes everywhere. A road like Ogba Road, that's a road between Baga and Ogba. You see the way the road is? almost every road in Lagos.
But in fairness, Mr. George, if you look at the road, the Agege Stadium Road, which was a terrible one, that road is now looking good. Work is going on there. I thought, in fact, I said at the beginning that you see projects still ongoing.
Yes.
But you from what you are seeing, it's almost like stopping work.
Uncle Yori, I'm a grassroots person. We go into the interior everywhere, and the major roads, even the road I pointed out now, you need to just go there and see what I'm saying.
Okay.
Coming from Akinwunmi, and when you get to that T junction at Wema and turn left towards Excellence Hotel, from Excellence Hotel to
yes.
Junction,
I get you.
and experience the road.
I get you.
And that's just one of the several roads. If he's saying that,
do you think any? I beg your pardon, sir. Do you think any of this perceived slowing down that you're speaking of would have been occasioned by what we're talking about? Lost his beat. Okay.
I think so, because I looked at the speed and tenacity with which he was walking from the beginning up to that point of seeking re-election, and I see a sharp difference.
Okay.
If I were him, I will, even if I lost the bid for the second term, I will walk till the last day with the same team. That is how to show people that you have something to offer.
Okay.
It's not because you don't have another 4 years. After all, the people elected you for 4 years. Use that 4 years to give them maximum service, whether you are going to be re-elected or not.
Okay.
But for about a year before, about a year towards the end of his tenure, we saw so much. So I do not see a situation where the attitude he is trying to portray now, if he puts it into governance, he will lose the support of people like me. Thank you.
Thank you very much for calling in. Again, this is one of those kind of subjects because it concerns everybody. Everybody looks up to our governor. The term "our governor" is everybody. So everybody's going to have a take on the matter. And in fact, it's so good that we get these sort of interesting side-by-side takes. Whereas I thought, depending on where I was looking, that work hasn't stopped, which I thought was commendable. So somebody says, look, I'm grassroots, I know what I'm talking about, and has cited one place that I remember, but I would have thought that, look, you can't do it all at once. Anyhow, somebody else trying to get in? No? YAQUB again. Good morning, YAQUB, again. Since, okay, go ahead.
Yeah, good morning, once again.
So you have now leveled up, Abby?
Yeah.
You have leveled up with Mr. George. It's all right.
Yes, of course.
Continue.
Security, a word of I'm wiser now. It is a big word. You see, we can turn it to so many things. You see, in our own locality here, in our own language, Yoruba language, I'm sorry to use that word now. If you are going to use, you are warning me that you are going to be sorry.
It's not a derogative word. I just want to use my own word that they said someone I think you should be able to translate it for me. Literally, one thing is this. Ambode did quite well. There's no doubt about it. You can never compare the level of infrastructure here in Lagos with Ogun State. To be sincere. But a situation whereby he did not get his politics right. That is only true. But another thing that I disagree with him is this. Yes, it's wiser now. Because it's not only politics that you are going to find yourself. You are going to find yourself in so many things. And then I think you should be able to take what he learned now in any other station he finds himself. But the only thing that he did towards this ending that I don't really like is this. I don't know why is he calling Mr. President to come and inaugurate some project that is not yet finished. When he knows quite all right that incoming governor is still the same member of the same political party.
All right,
if you have left it behind, let the incoming governor finish it up.
Okay.
And then commission it. And then I'm very sure the incoming governor will give him applause for that because he was one started it. But all well and good. I wish him good luck.
Thank you very much for calling in. I mean, YAQUB just went onto another tangent, you know, re-expressing. But look, the gentleman, Mr. Ambode, it seems to me that contrary to what a lot of people might have thought, that, oh, with what happened, I know they do again. No, he said, no. It's showing that he's made of sterner, better stuff. Maybe immature minds might go about it that way. Certainly he's showing an example of, maybe how to be a team player.
Well, the function of doing in his administration could be a subject of the budget. I don't know what is in the budget. Maybe there is more of recurrent than capital. If there are more recurrent than capital, it means that they'll be spending more money on services than projects. You understand? So until we see what is in the budget, then we'll be able to know how things are actually happening. But beyond that, there are jobs still going on in Lagos State. Things are still happening. And the incoming governor is full of steam. Mr. Sanwo-Olu is full of steam, very ready to take on the baton. And of course, sprint on. And a lot of things.
And so it's important that the momentum must not fall.
It mustn't fall.
Just like in any relay.
That is why I said Mr. Sanwo-Olu is full of steam right now. In the relay, he had even moved. He had moved. You understand?
I like the analogy you were using. You know, when you were doing relay, I remember back in the day, secondary school,
yes,
you actually start running before the man reaches you.
Before the baton comes in. So
if Sanwo-Olu is doing that, this guy is also coming down the stretch.
I can assure you that in the first quarter of Mr. Sanwo-Olu's administration, a lot of these things would have been resolved.
Okay. Benedict in AHOYAYA, good morning, sir.
Yeah, good morning. Thank you. At last, I called in earlier. I was kept on hold for a while, and now
I'm so sorry to hear that.
This was. I wish this were toll free.
Oh, I'm so sorry about that.
I wanted to just add to what the comrade guest talked about. That I don't think work has slowed down because Ambode doesn't want to work. The budget for 2019 hasn't been passed. I think it's just been passed, but it's not been signed by the governor. So I don't know why that is. Maybe they want to keep it for the incoming governor to look at it, and then so I guess that is the reason why certain projects are not going on as you would have expected. I needed to put that on the table.
And
I must commend Ambode. Yes, some of us, I particularly followed him even when he campaigned to be elected, and he's done a lot of what he promised. I wish he had gotten a second term. The lesson he ought to have learned now, he ought to have learned this lesson even from Fashola. I think Fashola had the same issue when he wanted a second term. It's unfortunate, but you have to play the politics. You have to understand the politics.
As the man said, he's reported to have said, you see, every politician learns every day.
Yes. But sometimes you learn from others. You don't want to learn only from your own experience. You learn from others' experience. Yeah, so Fashola had the same issue somewhat. Yes, Fashola had the same issue somewhat in his second term. So when he wanted the second term, he had issues with the party, some members of the party and all that. So when you know that you need your party to get the tickets for re-election, then you have to carry them along as well. Carrying them along doesn't mean, doling out money to them and all, but don't shut them out completely.
Well, the man has said it. According to his quote, I am more of a politician than a technocrat now.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's part of learning.
I must commend him. The way he's managed it, he fought a bit, and when he realized that he didn't want to, throw a spanner in the entire wheel. So I'm glad he didn't do that. He's wiser. There'll be other opportunities in the future. All
right, then. Thank you very much for calling in, Benedict. What he just said last reminds me of the way the Chief Justice, also resigned, say, in the interest of the good health of the judiciary. So that's, there's a sort of a similarity there.
Let me give you a scenario that happened around 2001, 2002. It's a case of a master mariner in politics in Nigeria and Africa, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. His administration was full of programs, full of projects, raising the IGR from 600 million to the billions and what have you. And while they were moving at a fast pace, suddenly something happened. There was the bomb blast at IKEJA. So a lot of people were not even looking at the pace at which the government was going in terms of infrastructure now. It became a case of insecurity. And Asuwaju was very quick to handle that matter and did not allow it burst out of proportion in Lagos, because people were not even seeing the federal government anymore. They were looking at the governor of Lagos State. So it was quickly to come up with emergency response, was quickly to manage information with the people, with the party, and of course to take care of the federal, regardless of the fact that the federal and the state were not in sync
at that time.
So it was able to manage that.
That's that adaptability that we're talking about that is, quite frankly, a political skill.
And that is not a function. That's not a function of a private sector ability now. It's a function of you taking the private and the public and your political
and understanding
sense, putting it together.
And understanding the people. Okay, in Adamawa, Uncle Sid, good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Uncle Yori.
Good morning, sir. Thank you for calling in.
Yeah, in the issue of Ambode, I want to actually believe that Ambode, what he has learned is not good for politics. He has just learned that in politics, you don't always work for the masses alone. You work also for the politicians who put you there. You give them money, and you also work for the people. But in real politics, as far as politics is concerned, you don't always, the people is what matters. Ambode has just learned that he's supposed to distribute money to political fathers and also work a little for the people. That's just all, nothing more than that. I think he has not learned a better thing in politics. He has not learned anything that will help development in Nigeria. Thank you so much, sir.
Okay. Are you going off then? Are you there?
No, I'm here.
Okay.
Yeah.
How about this whole matter about being a team player?
A team player?
Yeah, with your party. You have an organization, institution, a political party in this case. Surely you have to be in sync with your party. Would you agree with that?
I understand that. I understand the issue of a team playing or a team play. But you see, the issue is that
I think we lost that gentleman.
If I may quickly respond, yes. I think it would be out of place for me to be here and not correct that erroneous impression. The case
but his own interpretation.
That is own understanding from me. But he need to be educated about this process.
Please.
The issue is not about train money. Nobody asks for money from anybody. In the party, in the APC, we have more professional people. Either at the grassroots or what you have, or whatever it is, there are professional people in different respects. The issue is a game of number. It's a game of number. No matter how good, Mr. Yori, you are in this studio, definitely people also would want to contend with your popularity and your knowledge. And that's the beauty of democracy.
Yeah.
You don't gag people down. You give them the opportunity to also dance on the stage.
So it's not a matter of handing money over to anybody.
It's a matter of number. It's a matter of number. Some numbers decided to move towards Mr. Sanwo-Olu in large quantum. You understand? And that is what I think Mr. Ambode said he has learned from, to pick the numbers.
Okay. Let me see, Comrade Ayo, maybe, Comrade Ayo, if you are there, maybe 30 seconds. I understand you've switched on your generator. You're going to switch on the generator. So now you can see what we're talking about.
No, it's like they heard what I said on TV.
Oh, and then NEPA came back, as we say locally. Please, quickly.
Pertaining to Governor Ambode, you see, it's a lesson to all of us who are aspiring to a position of leadership. See, leadership is about the people. When you disconnect yourself from the people who put you to power, definitely they will react. Yes, Nigeria is getting there. We've far gone to the days where few people participate in politics. Almost everybody now participates in politics. If a party puts you into a position and you decide to disconnect yourself from the party, believing you are brilliant, believing you are performing, then they will react.
Okay, thank you very much. Comrade, really, I got to interrupt. Forgive me for doing so, but we completely ran out of time. But since I thought you switched on your generator, I said, look, I got to give you time. But you said, no, it was the power that just came back by itself. But thank you very much. I'm wiser now. Somebody has said it's a lesson for all of us. I want to thank also, Comrade Ayodele Adewale, rights activist and politician. Thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
That's our program. Please join us tomorrow for a fresh edition. I am Yori Folani. Bye-bye for now.